Ezekiel chapter 1, it tells you, now it came to pass in the 13th year, in the fourth month, in the fifth day of the month, as I was among the captives by the river of Chebar, that the heavens were open, and I saw visions of God. In the fifth day of the month, which was the fifth year of King Jehoiakim captivity, the word of the Lord came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans, by the river Chebar. And the hands of the Lord was there upon him. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire unfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire, also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of four living creatures. And this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. The man is the navigator. And everyone had four faces, and everyone had four wings, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf feet foot, and they sparkle like the color of furnace brass. In other words, when you come down in the back and touch down on the land runway, the rubber tires sparkle. And they had the hands of a man under their wings. Let you know the man was the navigator of this spaceship. On their four sides, and the four had their faces and their wings. Their wings were joined one to another. In other words, this is solid superstructure. All these wings that caused this vehicle to fly was not wings that flopped like a bird. Here one had a sturdy wing, but it caused it to leave the earth. Caused it to fly, but they never flopped like a bird, say they were joined one into another. So he's telling you, they turn not when they went. They went every one straight forward. As for the likeness of their faces, they four had the face of a man. He's telling you the man was the navigator again, and the face of a lion. The lion was a military person in there who went up there on the brink of earth. On the right side, and the four had the face of an ox on the left side, and the four also had the face of an eagle. The eagle was always the last, but the man and the lion was riding up in there together. The man is a navigator, a regular pilot, but the lion is a defile-minded man who was of the military infrastructure of the United States of America. Thus were their faces, and their wings were stretched upwards, two wings on every one were joined one to another. These are the glider wing, two glider wings. It told you the first wing, the part, and it tells you the second phase. It's two-stage vehicle because it's got to have the glider wing to bring it back down. but they were stretched upwards, letting you know that this vehicle was on a launching pad. Two wings of every one were joined one to another, and two covered their body. These were the two glider wings that brings it back. And they went every one straight forward, whether the Spirit was to go. They went, and they turned not when they went. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of the lamps. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning and thunder. This is the blast off of this spaceship as it sit up on the launching pad, and the fire ran up and down it among it from the weight of this thing. And as it descended up out of the fire, you will hear thunder and lightning from the spaceship as it go out into outer space from the solid fuel booster rocket. And the living creatures ran and returned at the appearance of a flash of light. Now as I beheld the living creatures, behold one, listen to this, one wheel up on the earth by the living creatures with his four sides. The appearance of the wheel and their works was like unto the color of beryl, and they four had one likeness, four different spacecraft likeness, and their appearance and their works was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. He's speaking to you concerning the wheel. God began to watch the wheel of the spaceship. It had a metal rim made out of something like aluminum, with a wheel of a synthetic rubber like mounted on the rim used as shock absorber. There was not like the chariot wheel, which had no air in the tires, was made of metal or wood, but there was a metal wheel with a synthetic rubber to allow them when they touched down to the land. He was telling you it was a double wheel on this thing. True. When they went upon their four sides, virgin, they turned not when they went. As for the range, they were so high that they was dreadful, and their range were full of eyes round and about them. For other words, they had camels, peoples on board of this spaceship, all going into outer space. And when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. And when the living creatures returned, when the living by them, and when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Wheresoever the Spirit was to go, they went by was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheel. In other words, he was telling you the spirit, the life of these spaceships depended upon the functions of the wheel. It didn't matter whether they go, but when they returned from outer space, they needed the wheel to land to keep it from disintegrating on the runway. Then you know this was a runway aircraft. It depended upon the wheel. What God was looking at in this formality of this spaceship, it created the wheels because it needed the wheels to return back and land, make a safe landing. He had to create a way for it to go and come without disintegrating by the tile that was in